Board of Chosen Freeholders is hereby called to order. Madam Clerk, can you please call roll?
Yes. Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Jones,
Present.
Freeholder Luciano,
Here.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebold,
Here.
Freeholder Toro,
Present.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Here. Thank you. Please stand to salute our flag. I'm going to ask if Freeholder Luciano can please lead us in the salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. I have before me a certification from the clerk that this meeting is indeed in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Madam President, there are three. Conference board meetings, March 29th, 2017, May 3rd, 2017, and May 24th, 2017.
Freeholders, any questions about the transcripts? Hearing none. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Siebold. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Luciano. Madam Clerk, please call roll to approve the transcripts from the
Freeholder
previous
Bobadilla.
meetings.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill, absent. Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, at this point in time in the meeting, I am going to ask District 4 Freeholder, Mr. Len Luciano, who represents the great township of Livingston, on the Freeholder Board to offer greetings on behalf of the board. And after Freeholder Luciano, Freeholder Patricia Siebold will then also speak, but thank you to the township of Livingston for having us here. Freeholder Luciano.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening to everyone who's here in attendance, those that are watching on TV. My name is Len Luciano, Essex County District 4 Freeholder. I have been proud and humbled to represent the 11 North and West Essex towns since 2011, which includes the township, great township here of Livingston. Livingston was a home to me and many of my family members for many years. I'm a graduate of Livingston High School, so I'm proud to call myself a Lancer alumni. And again, I see a lot of the local governing body, other folks that I know here from Livingston. I know that, I also serve as a auxiliary police officer to the Livingston Police Department, and I see many of the officers and leadership here, and thanks for your service. I do want to just also make mention, Madam President, that this is a great community where the county and the township has a great partnership. We do a lot of projects together. I know we just finished up paving some of the busy thoroughfares and county roads that come through Livingston that are county roads because we do care about public safety. We hope to continue with these projects as we move forward, and we also hope to have that same open-ended partnership with the local governing body. So thank you again for everyone who's here in attendance. And we look forward to coming into Livingston annually every year in July.
Thank you. Freeholder Siebold.
Thank you. I'm really happy that we are here in Livingston tonight. I moved to Livingston in the early 60s, and I moved here because Livingston was known for having a great school system, and still is known for having a great school system, not only throughout the county, but throughout the state, and nationally it is on the list as having a great school system. We also have a wonderful government. Going back to the school system for a minute, I have 2 grandchildren who are in the school system now. I have 2 children who graduated from Livingston High School, and I have 1 grandson who graduated from Livingston High School. This is a great, great town. And I think we have a wonderful police department, and I would like to thank them, and I would like the sheriff's officers to be complimented for providing all the safety that we need when we have our meetings. And at this time, I'd like to introduce the mayor of Livingston, Sean Klein. The town council does a wonderful job here in the community, and I'd like to pull Sean up to say a few words.
Thank you, Freeholder Siebold, and thank you, Madam President. It's a pleasure for me, on behalf of my other council members, Deputy Mayor Ed Meinhardt, Rudy Fernandez, Michael Silverman, and Al Anthony, to welcome the Freeholder Board to Livingston for your meeting this evening. The county and Livingston have had a lot of good successes recently. New traffic light at Chestnut and Northfield, which has been getting rave reviews. A smart traffic light, which is as efficient as having a police officer standing there and directing traffic. People have been very happy about that. We had a recent event called Pick It Up Livingston, where we had 300 volunteers spread out throughout the town, cleaning up garbage off of our streets, some of which were county streets, and the county helped orchestrate the closure of those streets. So we appreciate that, and we hope that's going to be an ongoing annual event. We have big things coming up. South Livingston is another road, major thoroughfare that's going to be paved soon. So we're looking forward to cleaning up that road. And we're all very excited by the prospects for Reichel Hill Art Park, which we think in the next couple of years is going to be looked at and renovated. So a lot of exciting things from the county, from Livingston's point of view. And we're very happy to have you here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And could the other town council members please stand so everybody could see that you're here? We have a 5-member town council, and all of them thought that this meeting was important enough to be here, so thank you very much. I'm used to seeing you all sitting up here.
I would also say Livingston is a lucky town because we have 2 freeholders that can represent us. We have the longtime Livingston resident, Pat Siebold, who is sort of, a grand dame in Livingston government and politics. And, she represents us, even if she's an at-large delegate.
Right.
And we also have freeholder, our actual District 4 freeholder, Len Luciano, who's also, as he said, an auxiliary police officer, and we love having you as our representative. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you. And for the members of the public who are here tonight or at home watching on TV, tonight's meeting is a conference board meeting that we will be discussing agenda items as well as taking action on them by way of a vote. And it is our practice as a Freeholder Board. Several times during the year we go out to different towns just trying to bring the government to the people. So this was the week in which we were scheduled to be here in Livingston, the great city, of course. And thank you so much to all the electeds who have welcomed us here, as well as those city employees who helped put this together, and everyone here tonight. We're going to be opening up public comment session, but before we do, I'm going to open up with just some brief remarks. We are fully aware of the protest and what the spirit of the protest is all about and the reason for it. But I just wanted to shed some light on what the relationship between Essex County is with Essex County College, as well as what it is not. And for members who are here that are not part of the protest, that may not know what it was about, there was action taken by Essex County College, which resulted in the firing of a professor, and that's what the protest was. However, our body here, Essex County, is a standalone entity. Essex County College is also a standalone entity. They have their own HR department, they have their own policies and procedures, they have their own disciplinary action. We as a Freeholder Board, in our relationship with the college, is that of a funder. So we do give grants to the college, and we also have to vote on Board of Trustee members. Now, once those members are installed, they are the ones who are responsible for the governance of that college. The chairperson for the Essex County Trustees is named B.B. Taylor. And as you know, there is a new president that was recently installed at the college. Now, the president is so new. In fact, our relationship, again, between the college as well as the county is that of so much in a separate way that I have yet to meet the acquaintance of the new president, even myself. However, I do know I'm going to be scheduled to meet him very soon. But that's an example to let you know how separate we are. We do not have, this body does not have hiring and firing power at Essex County College. That is not what our jurisdiction is. That is not what our power is. But I will tell you that this body here, I know I can speak for myself, and I'm sure many of my colleagues, our favorite part of the meeting is the public comment session, because we love to hear from residents throughout the county so that we can listen to issues and so that we can truly absorb what's happening in the community and what is important to you. But I just would like to set that record straight from the very beginning, that Essex County is a standalone entity from Essex County College. Recognizing Freeholder Vice President Gill, now present with us. So with that said, I would like to open up public comment session for agenda items only. If there's any member of the public here wishing to comment on agenda items only, please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record. Okay. Are there any members of the public wishing to speak on any issue at all? Please come forward, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, monitored by the clock to my right. Good evening, Ms. Hill.
Good evening.
That's a left-handed door.
This doesn't have to be on the agenda items at this point.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
It's on anything.
I think it's important.
Ms. Hill, can you take the mic or
Okay.
turn? There you go.
I think that it is important. Oh, I'm sorry, Ingrid Hill. I'm the vice chair of the People's Organization for Progress. We know that you're a standalone body. However, you're also a governing body for Essex County College. And I think it's important that everybody be aware in terms of what happens in Essex County that impacts the workers and people who live here. Pop had written a letter, and I would like to read this letter. It was sent to everybody, but I think one of the things is that even though you have separate entities, it's all, whatever happens is going to impact all of us on some level. So I think it's important for you to be aware, and since you do have the responsibility of funding, and also have the responsibility of hiring, well, supporting who gets elected as part of the Board of Trustees, I think it's important for the people who come in those positions that they have the responsibility of monitoring what's going on at Essex County College. Therefore, I just want to read the letter. It says, Dear Freeholder, President Timberlake, and it was sent to everyone. We, the People's Organization for Progress, a grassroots organization fighting for racial, social, and economic justice and peace, are writing this letter to bring to your attention the termination of Ms. Lisa Durden as an adjunct by Dr. Anthony E. Monroe, the newly appointed president of Essex County College. It appears that Ms. Durden was terminated following her appearance on the Tucker Carlson's Fox News show, and that she was not afforded the opportunity of due process. There's a question about her First Amendment rights being violated, and that the circumstances leading to her termination appear to be suspect. Ms. Durden has a track record of having volunteered for services to Essex County College over the years, including but not limited to opening doors for students to obtain internships in the communication field, thereby affording them the opportunity, where possible, to obtain employment in the field. In addition, she has served as a panelist in a number of programs at the institution where she has shared her varied experiences in the field of communication and related areas. Ms. Durden is a dedicated professional who is committed to serving her students by providing them with the most efficient and effective strategies for them to succeed. It would be a detriment to both the students and institution not to afford her the opportunity to teach at Essex County College. We are requesting that she be reinstated as an adjunct and that you support this effort. We look forward to a favorable response. Sincerely, Lawrence Ham, Chairman, People's Organization for Progress. I thought that this was important to at least make you aware in terms of what is going on at Essex County College.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hill. And it is, and again, it is important for us to be made aware, and we thank you so much for coming out and for your courage to speak up for what you believe in. I just want to make, again, some points of clarity. We are not the governing body for Essex County College. We are not. The Essex County College has its own governing body. I would hope that this also gets duplicated at their board meeting, at the college board meeting, because we have no jurisdiction over hiring or firing. We get no list when someone is fired or hired. We get no input either way. And also, the Board of Trustees are not elected at the college. They are rather appointed. We do appoint the trustees, but once we appoint the trustees, they are then the ones responsible for governing that college. So I just want to make those points of clarification again. Sir?
All right, cool. My name is Bashir A Kennelly. Let me start off by saying, Ashhadu ila illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. That simply means that I bear witness that there is no God but God, and that he is one, and that Muhammad is the messenger and his servant. Assalamu alaikum, that simply means peace be unto you.
Walaikum assalam.
No doubt. It's good to be here, but we're here because, unfortunately, one of our members of our community was unjustifiably fired at Essex County College, all right? And let me just say this, I'm also a member of and one of the co-founders of the Newark Anti-Violence Coalition. It's a community-based anti-violence group based out of Newark, New Jersey. But we're here for that. And although you guys may not be, they don't have the power to hire and fire folk down at Essex County College, I just think it's important that that you guys hear what's actually happening at Essex County College, all right? And we believe that Lisa Durden, our friend, our sister, a member of our community, a respected teacher at Essex County College, was let go. And there was no reasons for that, all right? We believe that her First Amendment rights were violated, and also it was an attack on African Americans, all right? They're saying that African Americans don't have the right to have a space where we can have discussions about our culture, all right, about our issues. So, you know, we're just looking for some justice, although you guys don't have the power to hire or fire anyone, but you do have, I believe that you do have some influence on what's going on in Essex County and what's going on, Essex County College, and what's going on in the city of Newark and what's going on in this county. All right, so with all that being said, again, my name is Bashir A Kennelly. I'm a member of the Newark Anti-Violence Coalition. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Akalele. Again, thank you for your courage and for what you do in the community. Sir, just state your name and affiliation for the record.
Hi, my name is Erin Hyman. I'm here representing the Green Party of New Jersey, where I serve as co-chair of the state party, and I'm also a candidate for General Assembly in the 24th Legislative District. I would like to thank Freeholder Director Timberlake and also Vice President Brendan Gill, who I have the pleasure of affiliating with the New Jersey Bike and Walk Coalition. I thank you for his service to our organization. Thank you for allowing him to spend time with us. We really appreciate it, Freeholder Gill. I'm here as an outsider. I live in Warren County, proud Warren County resident, and I thank Essex County for their hospitality, as well as Livingston. It's an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to be here. It's also, as a New Jerseyan and American, my sacred right to have the constitutional honor and privilege to speak my mind here and have it entered into the public record.
Absolutely.
That is why I'm here in support of Professor Durden. Free speech and constitutionally sacred liberties to express a political and a provocative viewpoint are something that we should all value and cherish, from the regular citizen to the highest level of government. Now, we recognize that Professor Durden was an adjunct professor, and as such, her employment was at will. We recognize that she can be terminated by Essex County Community College, and we recognize the fact that they are independent of the Board of Freeholders. However, we want to put on the record that we feel this is unjust and inappropriate. It is a disservice to our education system. The ability to handle these provocative issues with honesty and authenticity is a valuable asset to our youth, to our state, and to our society as a whole. So as a New Jerseyan at large, I would like to say that the eyes of the state are watching Essex County. the eyes of the nation indeed are watching Essex County. And we recognize, well, I recognize personally as a proud Rutgers alum, that where the executive branch of the state government does have some oversight over our Board of Governors, they do not have direct control. And likewise, the trustees are appointed by this political group, this political body, and you do not have direct oversight, but the message you send is powerful, it can be clear, and it can be profound. So I recognize that the relationships are new, and it is a learning process as you learn how to work together to serve our community and to serve our students. But please remember, all of New Jersey is watching Essex County, and even the nation, as this has been a nationally prominent story, is watching Essex County and what the members of this Freeholder Board do, what the members of this, thank you, what the members of this community do, and what the people of this community do in either rallying behind Professor Durden and standing up for our constitutional liberties and our right to engage in provocative and profound and controversial political speech. So let me just say, let us as New Jerseyans serve as a good example for constitutional freedom of expression and liberties to the rest of the nation and even the rest of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you again for your service in the community and for your courage to come and speak about what you believe. Please approach and state your name and affiliation for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Yes. My name is Jewel Cadet, and I am the New York City chapter co-chair of Black Youth Project 100. I am also a new resident of Essex County. I reside currently in East Orange, New Jersey. I'm reading here a letter that I actually wrote specifically to Dr. Anthony Monroe, the president, Vice President Dr. Jeff Lee, and the County Executive Joe D. They have not responded yet, so that's why I'm here, so that these words can be on record. So I will read an excerpt of it because 3 minutes is not a lot of time to read my full letter. So the letter reads, the newly appointed president of Essex County County College, Dr. Anthony Monroe, a black man, made the ultimate decision to fire Lisa Durden, a black woman. As he quotes Dr. Martin Luther King in his statement discussing inclusivity, he goes on to say that racism cannot be fought with racism. However, if we must quote Dr. King, let us reflect on when he also said, freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor, it must be demanded by the oppressed. Intentional black spaces are freedom spaces. It radiates black love and black joy. It is a radical space that no one but us can create for each other. And I say this because I am one of the party organizers in this party, intentionally. The quotes that were used on the show were mine. So this is very important that these words are being spoken. So we challenged this notion and asked Dr. Monroe, where is the value of free speech when Lisa goes on a racist show exercising this alleged right of free speech only to be reprimanded for her beliefs? Where is the value when Lisa stands up for black people, the very demographic of Essex County College, and says what no other would say? What is more honorary of Memorial Day than to show up in true revolutionary spirit of those who fought to uphold the right of this value? Free speech is not conditional to being politically correct, which often permeates anti-black rhetoric. We already know that Lisa Durden is a pillar of the community in Newark. This letter that I wrote affirms that her firing from Essex County College is immoral, unethical, and misogynistic. We demand for her to be reinstated immediately. If the demand of her reinstatement is not met, Essex County College will be choosing to continue to uphold anti-black, misogynoir, and hypocritical beliefs of the true value of free speech. We also demand that the president, Dr. Monroe, is fired immediately. And if we must quote anyone, let us quote Malcolm X. The most disrespected woman in America is the black woman. The most unprotected woman in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. Essex County College does not want to go down in history as an institution which continued to enact such disrespect, violence, and neglect upon a black woman. So I stand in solidarity with Lisa Durden.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your service to the community, and welcome to Essex County, and shout out to East Orange, because that's where I live too. Please approach, sir. State your name and affiliation for the record.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nev Shields. I'm a 1993 alumnus of Essex County College. I have come here, ladies and gentlemen, to tell you the truth as it is. Well, the suspension and firing of Professor Lisa Durden is a great shame in Essex County College because, quite frankly, it's a First Amendment issue, and she didn't do anything in that Fox News that identified her as a college employee or did it on college time or anything like that. Therefore, in accordance with a famous Supreme Court decision, Pickering versus the Board of Education, a 19th Supreme Court decision decided 8-1, which stated that a teacher cannot be fired if he's doing if there's no knowledgeable or reckless comments. This wasn't the case in that decision, and this wasn't the case in this decision, in this matter. I submit to you that the students of Essex County College are the ones that are suffering because the rights of the adjuncts are not being respected, because the adjuncts are the ones who make 90% of Essex County College teachers, 10% are tenured faculty. We have adjuncts who sleep in the cars. We have adjuncts who can't make ends meet. And they're the ones who are dedicated to the students. When I came to Essex County College in September of 1990, the ratio of adjuncts to tenured professors was 65 to 35. Now it's 90 and 10. The other point is that Essex County College administration is making everyone scared. They're making them afraid to voice their opinion. Black Lives Matter, adjuncts, you name it. They're scared for their positions. They're scared for their very lives. If they speak out, then they're like, oh, we get the boot. Well, that's what happened with Lisa Durden. She was, I don't agree with what she said, but that's First Amendment and this is America, so. But the point is, I may not agree with it, but I will defend your right to say it. So, when she said what she said over there, she had a right to say it. You cannot terminate someone because you don't like what you're saying, all right? That's not right. And I say, what legacy, what lesson are we giving to future generations as teachers, as parents, as adults? What lesson are we giving to future generations? Is it okay to knock down a person just because you don't like it? No, it's not okay. And that's why I'm going to stand with Lisa Durden and her supporters as an alumnus and as a proud graduate of Essex County College. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you.
Thank you. And again, thank you for your courage and to speak for what you believe. Please come forward and state your name and affiliation for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Hello, my name is Nate Fishman. I am the Operations Director for Copperdale for Governor, and I am an alum of Rutgers Newark here in Essex County. And, you know, I wasn't sure what I wanted to speak about, but one thing to mention is that even though I went to 4-year college here in Essex County and received my marketing degree, it wasn't until my 2nd year of graduate school in a master's degree program in New Brunswick that I ever was taught by an African-American teacher or professor at any level of school. And to me, it was only then that I became very aware that even in communities when some of the most important things are the cultural and ethnic makeup of the communities, that is still not reflected in the professional institutions. And so I think that when something like this happens, it certainly doesn't move us any closer to having that important landmark be reached. It's very important to be stressed to you that there is a issue of social justice, and as has been mentioned, an issue of constitutional justice. Professor Durden is here stressing that she did not receive due process. So that is something that does. If she does not receive due process from the Board of Trustees of the university, I'm glad to be able to support any effort to receive justice in any policy-making board that can lend their influence. Finally, as long as it took to ever have an African-American educator in my life, I still have not gotten to the point where there has been a formal teaching on racism in school. And I had to learn that in extracurricular activities, and yet that to this day remains the most important thing that I've ever been trained on, is how to reflect on my own complacence in the continuing inequality in society, in this state, in this country. And I think that when something happens, whatever happened to teachable moments, I think that what happened with Professor Durden not being a professor in her role on Fox News, that was a teachable moment. And I think it's just disgusting the way we have not learned from it at all.
Thank you very much. And thank you for sharing your experience.
Thank you very much for giving us this time. My name is Jeff Herzog. I am campaign manager for Copperdale for governor, running for governor of New Jersey with the Green Party. I have no relation whatsoever to Essex County College. I have less relation than you all do as freeholders. I do not live currently in Essex County. I am a graduate of Rutgers University. I live in Middlesex County. I was raised in a Jewish family, and we learned very young that if injustice is happening to someone, you better look out, because they'd be coming for you. And the Jewish people, African American people, brown and black and red and whatever color people around this planet and in this country have been suffering injustices. We said earlier the Pledge of Allegiance, which talks about liberty and justice for all. We just celebrated the 4th of July, which, and I'll give the benefit of the doubt, even though historically we know that it was a document by white men, for white men that own property, but it talks about being created equal. Well, I just met Lisa Durden a couple of days ago. I'm not from here. I didn't know her. I saw this thing in some news source that professor fired after Fox News. I was like, well, let's see what happened. Maybe she said something crazy. I watched. I saw someone who walked into the lion's den, knowing they were going to be attacked by lions, defending themselves courageously. All right, maybe she said something good there. So I looked up her TV show that she has, and I saw someone, at least the episodes I saw, doing a program about inclusion. So what is going on in Essex County College? I'm not from here, but I'm compelled to raise my voice in solidarity with Lisa Durden to see that she get reinstated and that there be justice at Essex County College. And I truly hope, I'm sorry if I'm raising my voice, but I truly hope that you as freeholders and as human beings that can see this coming down the road to bite you in the ass as well, or anyone else, are also courageous enough, like Lisa, to stand up and do something because you believe in it. Thank you.
Thank you again for coming to the microphone and for having the courage to speak out about what is important to you and what you believe. Now, I saw people come in a little late and join the line. If you can raise your hand if you were not here whenever I made my opening remarks. Okay. Cassandra, if you had to ask what was it about, you probably weren't here. So I'm going to repeat it for you. But please step forward and come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation for the record.
Hi, my name is Shana Lingua. Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Shana Lingua. I'm representing Black Lives Matter New Jersey, but at this moment at the podium, I won't be speaking on behalf for Black Lives Matter New Jersey, but as an individual, as Shana Lingua, who is a black college student at the College of New Jersey, I stand in solidarity with Professor Lisa Durden because she did something that was very courageous. She went on a national platform and advocated for and protected the lives and the actions of black youth. So I came here and I decided to speak as Shana Lingua rather than Black Lives Matter so that the people in this room could have a face for the black youth who are engaged in this movement for black lives, because our education is under attack, and this is a direct example of how the education of black youth is under attack. When a black professor is fired for standing up for black people wanting to gather peacefully in the United in a united space to celebrate each other and to center ourselves in our healing, she is now under attack. So I heard you earlier say that you don't have any power in whether she's reinstated or not, but what I did hear you say is that the trustee board is appointed by your board. Therefore, you do have influence. So if Essex County College is a college where the demographic is mainly people of color identified and women identified, I don't think it's in their best interest to fire someone who identifies as a person of color and as a woman and who is speaking on issues that are obviously relevant to our youth today. So her voice being silenced is ultimately my voice being silenced, and the silencing of youth, of people of color, poor people, indigenous people, queer people, and as such. So I just wanted to come up here and be not an example, but so you can have a face for what someone, you can have a face attached to the people in which Lisa Darden is fighting for. And you should greatly consider that. If you take education seriously, then you should seriously reconsider what you can do to reinstate Professor Lisa Darden. And thank you.
Thank you. Please come forward and state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Troy Knight Napper. I represent the Independent Green Party of New Jersey. I am a...
Can you pull the mic closer, or you can detach it if you need to.
I'm a Senate candidate for the Green Party, and I wanted to make a statement about the termination of Lisa Darden. My question to you is a simple one. What message do you hope to achieve by not standing in solidarity with this clear and unjust termination of a higher education educator in Professor Lisa Darden? As a resident of marginalized community of East Orange, the last thing we need is yet another strong voice in the battle for social justice to be silenced. And let there be no mistake, this is a battle for social justice. We need more voices like Lisa to be given a platform without fear of being terminated or being harassed. And clearly, that's not what happened. You may not have power to fire or, rehire, but you do have a small amount of influence because you appoint these people who did fire Lisa Darden. So, like I said, my only question is, what message do you give as freeholders by not standing in solidarity for a strong voice like Lisa Darden? That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. One moment, please. Okay, so 1 moment. So I just want to address just a few things. A word that has been mentioned often is influence. Now, once those board members are appointed.
Oh, let me speak, then I'll.
Cassandra, I'm gonna run this meeting,
okay.
And then I'm gonna let you speak, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
So let me say what I need to say.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh, you're welcome.
So, there was just another controversial issue that I'm not gonna, mention names or put on the record, where there was alleged influence by elected officials, which, our Freeholder Board has never had any type of political insertion into Essex County College. So Essex County College is a separate entity. They have their own HR department. They have their own set of HR rules. They have they make their own decisions for hiring as well as firing. We are Essex County. They are Essex County College. We are a grantor to them. And we also do, again, appoint the Board of Trustees. Once we appoint the Board of Trustees, they are then the ones that are to govern the college. This freeholder body does not govern the college. Again, public comment session is one of our favorite times because we enjoy listening to the public and getting an understanding of what is important. That is very important to do. That is a constitutional right. and we believe in it 100%, and we're glad that you're here today, anyone who comes to this microphone. But I need to put that on the record again, that although our name is Essex County, we as Essex County did not fire Lisa Durden. We do not have the power to reinstate Lisa Durden, but yes, we are elected officials that are here, and we also do have a willing ear. So if you could state your name and affiliation for the record.
Doc, P.O. Box 25331 Newark. You're right. Well, let me begin with this. I saw Lisa on the show. Lisa and I went to high school together. And and I don't mean no disrespect, Lisa. I'm calling you Lisa because we have that kind of relationship. So I saw her on the show. So I heard Lisa when she said blah, blah, blah. And I thought about it, and let me tell you something. I wouldn't even known that she worked for Essex County College had the president not did what he did. Had he not moved to fire her, I would have never knew that Lisa worked for the college, because she never mentioned it. So when the most powerful man in the world could talk about touching women's private parts and then become the most powerful man in the world, when the most powerful man in the world could talk about bombing the S out of other countries and become the most powerful man in the world, Lisa said blah, blah, blah. So Madam President, let me just clear this up too, because you're right. You don't have no power in here to do nothing about Lisa. This is all Joe D, county executive. He chooses the president. He chooses. It's his choice. You just vote on it. So let's be clear about that. So in case any of you thought, so we can stop even talking about that now, okay? So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this right to Joe. Joe, this is what you do. You call me, I'm gonna call Lisa. You're gonna call the president first. And then my partner, I'll call her as well. Or you can call her, because you have her number too. And we're gonna talk about this because you have the power, Joe, and he's watching. Here, Joe, you have the power to reinstate her. Call the president. Because any president that's ever been over Essex County College, Joe, you put him there. You put him there. And you, as a matter of fact, you the one fired the last one. That was all you, Joe. Yeah, Joe, that's what I call him. Okay? So, we can either do this at the Hall of Records, or we can do it in Nutley. Joe, where you want to do it at? Put her back where she was. Because again, we wouldn't have even knew she worked at the college. So, what you can do though, you can call him. You can call him, you know, the dark people up there. You can call him the black people up there. And let Joe know, we don't like it. We don't like it, Joe. So, again, coming to the Hall of Records, you can send Phil down like you always do. Send Phil down and tell us to get off the steps. But we'll come back again. Put her back, I know, Madam President.
I never did
Yeah,
that.
but this is me. Because we ain't going for it. Now, I'll probably be back and do another 3 minutes. In the meantime, text Joe.
Thank you. And I will definitely, before you speak, Ms. Jackson, I will definitely make a few comments. Never have I, not while I've been in Essex County as president of this board, seen anyone come out and move somebody who was having a peaceful protest. In fact, Ms. Hill can attest that I'm down there oftentimes with Pop, you know, standing up for different things that are right. Ms. Cassandra, so this is also a space of respect. So this is a space of respect. So when you were talking, I was not talking. So the other thing is that it was mentioned that what we can do is call the county executive. Again, the county executive is the executive over Essex County. Okay? If as powerful as this is something that should be happening at the Essex County College Board of Trustee meeting. This should be duplicated at their Board of Trustee meeting, where the chair will be B.B. Taylor and you can talk about the college president, because they do have within their jurisdiction to take a look at and see whatever was right and wrong. And I don't know what their processes and procedures are and their policies and procedures are, okay? But that's where this needs to be duplicated. The county executive is not the president of Essex County College. Ms. Jackson.
Good evening, Donna Jackson, 128 Smith Street. It's a sad time again. We're facing another very crucial decision that has been made at Essex County College. Back here 2 years ago when we were talking about Dr. Gibson, now we're talking about Professor Darden, and things just need to be fixed at the college. So you appoint the people. You need to appoint better people. That's one. Because the people that you're appointing, they're not there for education. Essex County College is dismal when it comes to our rankings, because I've been looking at them now for the last 2 years. We can't compete even with Hudson County that's right across the street. And that's not a good look for us. So when you have folks that come in that bring to the table certain things, and they're individuals before they got there, we can't stifle them. We could no more do that to a freeholder member who is having a press conference and off the cuff says something that either one of your freeholder members don't agree with, Father Joe don't agree with, because we all know how this is going here. So we're not going to play no games. We know who runs the county of Essex. And we know there's very little room for anyone to be an individual in this county. And that's why I'm here tonight. 2,000 to 5,000 families a month at the County of Essex Welfare Department being sanctioned. Are you watching it? I just did a fair hearing for a 9-month pregnant woman who was sanctioned by this department for 5 months, who did a work training program November and December. So when your caseworker, because they're yours, when your caseworker came to the hearing, she brought the printout, because now we have subscribed to a different caseworker every month. When she came in, she had a sheet of the person's activity only for the year 2017. We just did this hearing in May. When the woman did the activity, it was November and December of 2016. Your caseworker and the attorney for the Essex County Welfare Department did not have any of that. Her last activity they had was 2014. So needless to say, I won the case as the advocate that I am. And again, the department is wrong. There are thousands of families that experience that every month. You have families who need help with rental and security. They come in, I see Ms. Green on Monday, no problem, Ms. Jackson, bring me the document from your landlord, bring me this, and there's no reason for you not to be approved. I'll come back on Wednesday, because you don't want everybody to see the same person anymore, which is the worst thing we could have ever done in Essex County, and the person tells me, oh, Ms. Jackson, you're not eligible for rent and security. So this is the game that is causing and leading to the violence that is going on in our communities on top of the drugs. You guys are forcing families to do whatever they have to do to make it, and put Ms. Darden back.
Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Jackson, for your comments and for coming to the microphone and the courage. Sir?
My name is Bob Witanek. I'm a co-founding member of Decarcerate the Garden State, and I understand the limitations of your governing body, but I do think that there are things that you can do. You have said several times that this should be duplicated at the Board of Trustees. You can be at that meeting. You don't even have to speak. You can sit in the audience with the people that are speaking. You can make it known where you stand. You can speak out as an individual. You can sense the injustice. You are elected officials. You need to speak to your constituency, and you can do that. You can speak to your constituency and say, this is where I stand on Lisa Darden. I'm not speaking as the body, but here's where I stand individually on Lisa Darden. You can also, as the funding body of Essex County, as one of the funding bodies of Essex County College, you can say what kind of college you want to have. You can say that you want to have the kind of college where the students and the faculty can sit down and have a conversation about the life and death issues affecting the people in the neighborhood. The people that are dying in Newark. The people that are being carted off to prison in Newark. In a system that is incarcerating, you have a 12 times as likelihood to be incarcerated if you're black versus if you're white in New Jersey. So black lives legally do not matter equally in New Jersey. And that's the kind of thing. If you're an elected body and you're saying you can't do anything about college in your jurisdiction, having a conversation about how to address this issue, that's where the conversation needs to take place. You follow social change throughout the world. It starts on the colleges. And if you're shutting down the conversation on the colleges, you're making it so the communities that need to be served by the organizations and the movements that struggle for change, you're making it impossible for these organizations to grow and to become part of the agents of change to bring about the survival of communities that are dying. And that is what's going on. And that is what I'm calling upon you. You cannot force them, but yes, you can speak out as individuals. We saw all these Green Party people here. Where are the Democrats? Are the Democrats going to start coming up and speak as Democrats? And say, I'm for Lisa Darden? Where are they? How come it's only the Green Party speaking out for Lisa Darden? I imagine Essex County mostly Democrats, okay? So let's get with this. We need to have a safe space on our college campuses where students and faculty can unite without the fear of termination if someone says something that someone just happens to disagree with. We haven't heard about who these people are that complain. We've heard all the people that speaking publicly in favor of Lisa Darden. I haven't heard anyone speaking publicly who went and supposedly complained. Lisa Darden, reinstate.
Thank you. Ms. Durden?
Oh, hi, how are you?
Very well, how are you?
Deborah Davis Ford, remember me?
I do.
I was in all of the fashion shows that you used to give, and I won. I just wanted to say hello. We haven't seen each other in a few years. Well, you know my name. So, I mean, I'm not going to repeat the same thing. I mean, you guys kind of know. I just wanted to come here because Ingrid Hill felt like, Lisa, go and talk to the county, and let them know, because people say what they don't know, and we want to make sure you do know. And just to your point, we were at the Board of Trustees meeting on the 20th.
Very good.
And so we did speak out. So we know that there's a pairing, even though you elect them. I'm sure they have to answer, appoint them. So I'm sure they have to be, you have to be knowledgeable about how they run, what they run, so that you can reappoint or not reappoint. That's the choice of your governing body. So if they're not doing the right thing for students, they should not be granted that kind of job again in the reappointment. So when it comes time to reappoint, then if they're not doing the right thing, they should not be reappointed. And the right thing was not to fire a beloved professor summarily for exercising her right to free speech, which is Lisa Durden, and doing it in such a fashion where I didn't get any due process. And I'm going to say this again because it has to be said truthfully. When I said to the media I was publicly lynched, I'm going to say that again, because if we know our history, a lynching is almost like gang violence, and it's like rogue justice. When you get lynched in the historical perspective, you get pulled out for something you did. There is no jury of your peers. There is no due process. They have a public lynching on a Sunday, and you have your kids, and everybody's in all white, and they hang you from a tree so that they can send a message to everybody around. You see this person right here, the N-word? If y'all get out of hand, we're gonna do it to you too. That's why I akin what happened to me as a modern day lynching, because I was walking into the school, unbeknownst to me, I was accosted on, escorted to my class to tell them class was over. I didn't tell them why. I was marched up to HR, and I was given a suspension letter. And the details were in the media. Then when I walked out of that room, my students were in HR looking for me. I didn't tell them I was there. They found out through the building that I was being fired on the 5th floor because the whole building knew. An elder named Paulette Jones, who I've known for years as a friend, told me later on how they knew I was on the 5th floor. So I was mortified. Everyone in the building knew. She said they walked around and said, Professor Lisa Durden, where is she? We're looking for her. Just randomly asking people in the hallway where I was. And they told them where I was. They all knew but me. That's a public lynching. I didn't get due process. I was not given any way to explain myself and meet my so-called accusers. Therefore, I felt I was fired
unjustly because I used my right to First Amendment speech on that show. And they hired me as a working professional. They very well knew I did this for a living. They even recently had me on a panel called Radical Women in Media. That was their panel. And they invited me to be on the panel, so they all knew. They had a 10-page curriculum vitae with many of those clips from many shows I've appeared on, including many shows on Fox, Fox and Friends, Megyn Kelly's show. So I just wanted to let you know what's going on so that it won't be said that you've heard it from me and other supporters. And I wanted to also just hand this over to you. I've got over 2,500 signatures from people in Essex County, New Jersey, around the world. This is a national conversation. UK, London, Canada, and all over the United States saying this is not just. And they don't all agree with everything I said, but they said I have the right to speak. So I want to hand you that, and there's a few letters of support in the instatement of Lisa Durden. So I don't think those individuals who did this to me should be elected again to do those seats again. You guys can do that.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, freeholders. My name is Jerome Leslie Eben, E-B-E-N. I'm going to try to bring, I know you might say you had limitations to the previous issue. This issue you don't have limitations on because you are the governing body of the Essex County. I'm an architect and a planner.
Sir, if this is a different issue?
It's a different issue.
I'm
Is that all right?
I'm not taking your time away. Hold that thought before everyone else leaves. I want to thank everyone again for coming tonight and for speaking. Again, I don't want this to be taken out of context. I'm a stickler about context. This body, as individuals of electeds, are not saying that we are interested in burying our head in the sand or looking a different way. We just want to put things into context and perspective that we don't have the power to reinstate Lisa Durden, and we were not the ones who had fired her. But thank you so much for coming out and for your courage and for speaking what you believe. I hope you all come back July 19th when we have a monumental ordinance that's going to be passed that's going to be able to help women, minorities, as well as veterans. And Ms. Hill is shaking her head, so I'm sure she could tell you about it outside. And if you can restart this gentleman's clock. Thank you.
Thank you.
It gets restarted.
You got more time.
All right, thank you very much. Again, my name is Jerome Eben. I am an architect. In fact, I'm a fellow of the American Institute of Architects. I live in West Orange. I'm a licensed architect, not only here in New Jersey, but I think in 13 other states. My claim to fame is that if you've been in a Toys R Us building, everybody in the United States has been in a Toys R Us building. You've been in one of the buildings I designed. So 335 million people in the United States have been in one of my buildings. One of my proud things that I like to talk about when I do career days. And I do a lot of career days. I'm also a member of the West Orange Planning Board. And from time to time, the County of Essex comes before the West Orange Planning Board for a courtesy review of the great things that you're doing in the county parks. Freeholder Luciano talked about it in the newsletter. I know Freeholder Siebel has talked about it. Essex County Park System is the oldest park system in this great country. Last month I voted no on the latest proposal before the Planning Board. I was the only one to vote no. And again, it's a courtesy review, so even if the entire board voted no, the county would still go ahead with the project. I voted no for a couple of reasons. The reasons are that every time I ask questions of the county people that are presenting or their experts, architects, landscape architects, most of the time it's landscape architects. They seem to not use architects for a lot of the buildings that they do. I ask a lot of questions about pedestrian safety and traffic safety. Yesterday I was stuck on Northfield Avenue for over 15 minutes because someone made a left turn onto Northfield from Pleasant Valley Way and must have been from out of town because that person decided to go east in the westbound lane, head-on crash. Thank goodness for airbags. I have asked as a planning board member to extend sidewalks so that people can walk to these great parks and the great things that you do. that you design at the Turtleback Zoo. My grandchildren are on the West Coast. They talk about, even my littlest one, who's 2.5, talks about coming back to West Orange and coming back to the Turtleback Zoo. Uppy, can you take me to Turtleback Zoo? And it's great system. But I'm not going to continue to vote for projects that do not come together with the proper infrastructure to support them. For example, a parking lot that was designed on Cherry Lane is the only parking lot that I've ever seen in anywhere in this United States of that size that has absolutely no storm drainage. That is why the Essex, none, zero.
Okay.
That means it was just paved. I don't know how it got approved. It wasn't approved by us. What I want you to understand is that unless you do the infrastructure along with that, we as taxpayers are going to continue to pay for portable toilets at the Essex County Park System.
Thank you.
Please do something about the infrastructure in Essex County. If you want to have great projects and great parks
Thank you,
that
sir.
you talk about, I would appreciate it very much if you would support them with the proper infrastructure.
Thank you. And thank you for your courage and for coming to tell us about this matter that's greatly important. Hi, Ms. Roz.
Hi, thank you, Madam President. My name is Roz Moskowitz-Belsky. I live in West Orange, New Jersey. 3 years ago tonight, actually July 24th, 2014, was the first time that Pleasant Valley Civic Association actually came before the Freeholder Board. It's hard to believe that it's been 3 years already. At that time, we had requested and still request additional lighting, slower speeds, increased pedestrian crosswalks, and increased pedestrian timing on the intersection traffic lights, especially at Eagle Rock Avenue and Pleasant Valley Way. I think we should just talk, very bluntly and say that we're not doing very well in Essex County. We have 20 fatalities so far this year in 2017. 2016 saw Dil McCann, Jeanette Bergen, Joseph Kowalski, all killed while going or having something to do with New Jersey Transit or DCAMP bus. I think it's time that Essex County looks at what we can do holistically for reduction of traffic fatalities. Let's just all sit at the same table. We can just have all the municipalities, 22 municipalities in Essex County. It's the highest crash rate in each municipality. Let's talk about it. Let's say what can we do to make them safer. They're doing it in New York. They're doing it in San Diego. They're doing it in San Francisco. They're doing it in Seattle. We can do better. I don't know why we're not doing better, to tell you the truth. I think Essex ranks 2nd or 3rd in highest fatalities in New Jersey. So next week, July 16th, there's a meeting at the Zoo Educational Center. It's a multi-town pedestrian safety meeting. I encourage Mr. Luciano, I encourage Mr. Gill, come to that meeting. Sit down with us and say, what can we do? Can we increase the lighting? Can we slow the speeds down? It's how many people have to die while going to a bus. We know Megan Villanella in Verona on Pease Avenue. I hope that if you slow down that portion of Pleasant Valley Way at Lakeside, you can extend that towards Eagle Rock Avenue and beyond. We finally, after 3 years, got a light at Alyssa Drive. That should have been there 10 years ago. So why don't we just take off the pretense that we're doing the best job we can, because we're not. Otherwise, the statistics would be better. Distracted driving is a reality. People are distracted and it's really bad. So let's slow the speeds down, let's calm the road down. We have to deal with it instead of hiding. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Roz, for coming to speak and for your courage. I think at our recent Freeholder meeting, Vice President Gill, you spoke about the fatality in South Orange. Ms. Roz, your face was someone who came to my mind. This is a very important issue, so thank you. Are there any other members of the public wishing to comment on any issue at all? Okay, thank you. Hearing none, we're going to close public comment session. Madam Clerk, are there any topics of discussion?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay. Do we have any ordinances on introduction and first reading?
Madam President, we have one. Ordinance 1, bond ordinance providing for the improvement of the Essex County College in and by the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $2,500,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,250,000 bond or notes of the county and $1,250,000 bond or notes of the county entitled to the benefits of Chapter 12 of the laws of New Jersey of 1971 for financing such appropriation.
Okay. Mr. Jackson.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board. Mr. Acker is here to explain this particular ordinance.
Okay, Mr. Acker.
Thank you, Robert. Mark Acker, Director of Department of Administration and Finance. This is what we refer to as a Chapter 12 bond ordinance. Chapter 12 is a statute that the state will participate in the projects, capital projects of their community colleges to the extent of 50% of the total. So it's a $2.5 million ordinance. The county has appropriated $1,250,000 in its 2017 capital budget, and the state will pay the debt service on the remaining $1,250,000. Actually, these bonds will be sold later in the summer. The projects are identified in the ordinance. I have a list of them. There's standard capital projects that the college is undertaking. If you have any questions, I'll certainly be glad to answer.
Freeholders? Mr. McInerney.
Only one, and that is whether or not this bond ordinance still keeps us within the $20 million self-prescribed number.
It does, Frank. Back in January, we introduced an ordinance where the authorized debt was $18,610,000. This $1,250,000 added on to that keeps it right under 20.
Okay. And we're not required in 5%.
No, not on the education.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Paul-Vecchio?
No additional questions.
Freeholders? Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Acker. Just take it before instead of all together, right?
Yeah.
Is there a motion and a second to introduce this ordinance?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Siebold. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Vice President Gill. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson, absent. Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Richardson, absent. Freeholder Siebold.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, are there any ordinances or resolution on second reading and public hearing for listing only?
Madam President, there is one. Ordinance number O-2017-0005, ordinance adopting the finding of the Affirmative Action Committee and establishing a minority business enterprise, woman business enterprise, and veteran-owned business enterprise set aside in joint venture program for the County of Essex.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please list this for action at our next meeting. Are there any ordinances or resolutions on second reading and public hearing?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay. Now moving to resolutions. Please move to resolution number 1 and read.
Resolution 1, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Accounts and Control, approval of 2015 Corrective Action Plan.
Okay, Mr. Jackson?
Madam President, again, Mr. Acker is here to explain. This comes from our 2015 financial statement in order.
Okay.
Again, Mark Acker, Director of Department of Administration and Finance. Again, this is a small corrective action plan as it relates to our 2015 audit. There were several checks that were at least a year old, and the auditor recommended that they should be either canceled, reissued, to clean them up. We have since done that, and by regulations of the Division of Local Government Service, we are required to adopt that corrective action plan. So the audit finding about the stale data, the old stale checks, has been resolved. We have either reissued or canceled those checks.
Mr. Acker, thank you. Mr. McInerney.
Mr. Acker, these are strictly comments relative to the county departments and not to the outside departments, being the constitutional offices.
Correct.
Okay. That's a separate findings and a separate issue.
Correct.
And is this the only finding we had within the county audit for our offices? I think it was.
It is.
So that's pretty good.
And that is so.
I mean, there's probably smaller, insignificant items that might have been communicated, but this is the only significant.
The only audit comment.
Right.
Correct.
Thank you, Madam.
Mr. Polavecchio?
Yeah, just a housekeeping issue on the body of the resolution. In the resolved paragraphs, it instructs the board to forward the resolution to Norman Willis as CFO. Obviously, that just needs to be updated.
Freeholders? Okay. Thank you. Now, Madam Clerk, please read resolutions. Let's, by the way, we're going to list resolution 1 for action later this evening. Please read resolutions 2, 14, and 26.
Resolution 2, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, contract award to seasonal concessions, the sole responsive and responsible revenue-generating bidder to provide operation of food and beverage concessions at Weequahic Golf Course, July 7, 2017 through October 31st, 2019. Seasonal revenue, $5,400.
Mr. Jackson? Oh, go ahead.
Resolution 14, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, change order with Britain Electric Co. to provide outdoor athletic lighting repairs, amount not to exceed $31,359.88. Resolution 26, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Youth Services, approval of state community partnership sub-grant agreement, July 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017, aggregate amount not to exceed $58,147.
Mr. Jackson.
Yes, Madam President. As Madam Clerk indicated, these are all items relating to our Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, and Mr. Zaitz is here to, Josh is here to answer your questions.
Joshua Zaitz, Essex County Parks. Good evening through you, Madam Chair. Number 2 is simply a revenue contract for the county. It's for the Weequahic Golf food concession over at the golf course.
Can you explain, Josh?
Sure, it's a revenue contract. We released an RFP, we got one bidder back, and we reviewed it, and we recommended the golf food concession to seasonal concessions.
Okay. Mr. McInerney? No comments. Freeholders? Ms. Polavecchio?
Josh, this is a little in excess of a 2-year contract, but it is seasonal. How are those seasons?
It's seasonal in that it runs from, I got it right here, from March 31st till October 31st of each year during the height of the golf season.
Okay. So 6 months, 7 months.
Okay. Freeholders? Freeholder Jones?
Is it just the beverages that you're serving in this concession at Weequahic Park? Are they alcoholic beverages or just plain sodas or juices or that sort? The drinks.
I'm sorry, I'm having a real hard time hearing you.
What type of drinks will we be talking about in this concession stand that is going to take place in Weequahic Park?
Through you, Madam Chair, it's basically a snack bar concession. They're going to have drinks, sandwiches, chips.
When you use the word drinks,
What kind of
that's
drinks?
what
I'm sorry, non-alcoholic. It would be
that's
soda,
all
juice.
That's
sorry.
what I wanted to know. Okay.
Misclarification. I'm not much of a drinker myself, so when I say
that's
drink,
okay.
I usually mean
People
Diet
are,
Coke. So.
That's why I want the clarity.
Okay, and 14?
Sure. Number 14 is to Britain Electric. They are currently our outdoor athletic lighting company, and their contract is set to expire in October. And as it currently is, we are not going to have enough money to take us to the end of that contract due to various improvements we've been doing throughout the park system. So we're requesting that additional $31,359.88 be added to the contract, which is 20%.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney?
I have no questions.
Mr. Paul-Vecchio?
Josh stated what I would have said. It's to the cent exactly a 20% increase, which keeps it on the acceptable level.
Freeholders? Okay. Hearing none, please list resolutions 2 and 14 for action later this evening. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect for the future that we did already read resolution 26. However, in context with the reason for Josh being at the microphone, please let's read resolution 27.
Resolution 27, Department of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs contract with Jerry Sports Center to provide federal brand ammunition per price quotation, amount not to exceed $1,167.55.
Okay, Josh?
Sure. Joshua is Essex County Parks. This is a ammunition request for sheriff's officers to use ammunition solely in the Turtleback Zoo in case of emergency. God forbid a wild animal gets loose and we need to take it down, or conversely, a person falls and accidentally falls into an exhibit and they're in danger. Obviously, we do not anticipate using it, but it is there as a safety precaution just in case.
Okay. In case we have Harambe at the Turtleback Zoo. That wasn't right. Okay. Resolution 27. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Mr. Paul-Vecchio?
Just a comment that I saw in the decision memo or in the resolution. This is in compliance with the ordinance for the purchase of ammunition and weapons.
Freeholders? Thank you.
Thank you.
Please list resolution 27 for action later this evening. Going to move to resolution number 11. Madam Clerk, please read.
Resolution 11, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Family Assistance and Benefits contract with Hudson Community Enterprises to provide security services, 2-year agreement, amount not to exceed $2,010,676.65.
Mr. Jackson?
Madam President, this is a security contract as mentioned for DFAP division, and Director Jeanette Page Hawkins is here as well as Mr. Brown, who is the vendor, representing the vendor.
Okay. Ms. Hawkins?
Good evening. I'm Jeanette Page Hawkins. I'm the division head of the Division of Family Assistance and Benefits, and I'm before you to seek approval of the security contract with Hudson Community Enterprise. They began serving us as an emergency measure in 2015, and we've had a good relationship thus far. We have, as the freeholders had requested, that we have ongoing training of the officers, and that has been very good, and has been a no tolerance policy with the vendor as well in terms of bad acts of the officers. We continue to have in place 23 officers, 2 armed officers, supervision, and 1 supervised officer for all. That's also armed, total of 27. We, through our magnetometers and x-ray machines, now have a sense of how many people go in and out of that building at 18 Rector Street. And we assume that there's approximately 3,200 security checks per day. They are manning 4 magnetometers, 2 for clients and 2 for staff as well. Any other questions possibly can be posed to Joe Brown.
Thank you. Mr. Brown?
Good evening. It's Joe Brown, President of Hudson Community Enterprises.
Okay, and if you could just please tell us a bit about the contract. This is
Sure, we're
a renewal, right?
A renewable contract, private nonprofit agency whose primary mission is to serve people with disabilities by providing employment opportunities. I think the freeholders will recall that we have a cleaning contract with Essex County Hospital that's been quite successful, that we're grateful for, and this is the third or the fourth year of the contract that we have now with you at Rogers Street.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McInerney?
Yeah, when I Googled this organization, it was predominantly an organization, a not-for-profit involved with helping the disabled. How does that, so is this a separate line of work that you do? That
It's
does not
a
include
separate line of
disabled?
work. It's a department that we have where we provide basically unarmed security. A little unusual because we're handling a little more complicated building, but you have a person that's in charge that's very, very able, that's been doing it for quite a long time. We understand that there was a problem with the previous contractor, and we have a very good relationship with people in the county, so they asked us to take over the contract, and we're happy to do it.
But there's the part of your organization that deals with disabled people. Does that segue into this business, this side of it too, or?
If appropriate, we'll hire disabled people for the jobs. Some of the jobs people with disabilities can handle, because sometimes security guards, they just require them to check people in and check people out. So as appropriate, we will place people in jobs.
And that's the only question I had, how that relates and how that intertwines with your overall mission.
We run a
and
number
the
of
responsibilities of this job.
The mission is really to help people with disabilities, so we run a number of social enterprise businesses. One of them that we do business with is the cleaning business, where we employ quite a number of people with disabilities. There's a scanning business too that we operate. This security business, which is kind of a division that's now grown quite large, with the cleaning business, shredding business, and a packaging and fulfillment business.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Polavecchio?
Just a question, kind of dovetailing on what Mr. McInerney said. It's a bid exempt contract because your organization is a sheltered workshop, but not each and every one of your employees is necessarily handicapped.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as appropriate as you
The mission
said.
is to try to have 80% of our employees be disabled. We have 700, and about 80 of them, 80% are just have some sort of disability.
Okay, thank you.
Contract takeover. Freeholders? One moment.
They came in on an emergency basis.
Okay. All right, can you put that on the record just to clarify?
Yeah, I think if I'm correct, if my memory serves us, you came in as an emergency, filling in the, I guess, unexpired term of the last contractor who didn't work out.
Yes, we did.
Okay, and now you've had full-fledged contracts. And, right.
Okay, thank you. Freeholders? All right, hearing none. Thank you. Please list it for action later this evening. Please move to Resolution 12 and read.
Resolution 12, Department of Citizen Services, Division of Community Action, approval and authorization by the county executive to enter into 25 renewal extensions to the sub-grant agreement for the 2017 Social Services for the Homeless and Social Services Block Grant, amount not to exceed $1,594,570.
Okay, Mr. Jackson?
Madam President, I'd like to bring up Mr. Brown to answer your questions and give you an explanation of this particular item.
Good evening, Maurice Brown, Director for the Division of Community Action. Good evening, Madam President, fellow freeholders. This proposal here is we're asking for your inclusion of an extension for the Social Services Grant, SSH. What is going on is that, and I believe a few weeks ago, you inserted into the budget the extension from the state. This is actually the breakdown through the 25 agencies. And what we did was a continuation for the next 6 months because it's an extension. The state is going to go to a calendar year. So for that, they're taking this grant to December 31st. And this is for our rental assistance, prevention of homelessness, and for food, case management, et cetera. And these are the 25 agencies that are in contract with us right now. So we're asking for your support and permission to move forward so that we can continue taking care of the Essex County clients. With me here tonight are two of the agencies that are represented, Montclair Salvation Army, Ms. Michelle Prosey, and Urban Community Center, Mr. Craig Maynard.
Okay. You can come forward. You can just tell us a bit about your organization.
My name is Michelle Cruzy. I'm from the Salvation Army of Montclair. The Social Services for the Homeless grant provides us with operating dollars for our emergency shelter. We provide shelter to individuals and families who are not eligible for the Division of Family and Benefits. We provide meals. We provide homeless prevention services. And what else do we provide? Oh, hotline services as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Hi, my name is Craig Maynard with United Community Corporation in Newark, New Jersey. We're a multi-service nonprofit agency. We have youth programs, senior citizen socialization programs, food pantry, clothing closets, as well as an adult homeless shelter on Fulton Street in Newark, New Jersey. 64 beds, 365 days. The funding that we're hoping that you support will help us keep folks from under the bridges on the trains and put them into a nice, warm, safe, nurturing environment and provide some case management services to them.
Thank you. Thank you for your service and what you do for the community, both of you. Mr. Brown?
If I may add, through you, Madam President, these two agencies also within the guidelines of SSH volunteer their services for Code Blue as well. And they're very instrumental in helping our division succeed in keeping people out of the frigid temperatures.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. McInerney?
On the schedule here, is this, it's like half of what the original amount was?
Yes, sir. Through you, Madam President. Yes,
So
sir.
that's how you allocated this extension?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Paulovecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? Thank you again for your service to the community. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Madam Clerk, we're going to list Resolution 12 for action later this evening. Please move to Resolution 13 and read.
Resolution 13, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, contract award to Kennelly Brothers, the lowest responsive and responsive bidders to provide video screen systems at Cody Arena, the amount not to exceed $190,000.
Okay. Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Madam President. As part of our renovation of Ring 1 at the arena, there's a new scoreboard going up, and Mr. Prokop from Kennelly Brothers is here to explain.
Good evening, Lucas Prokop, project manager with Kennelly Brothers, general contractor out of Hackensack, New Jersey. So basically this project...
Can you talk a little louder? Yeah, you can take the microphone off. I'm tall too, I just attached it, yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so basically this project is replacement of old video board, which is outdated. We're going to bring new one with higher resolution. It's about 28 feet wide, 14 feet tall, the same size as it is now. We're going to replace the old one, and that's basically it. It's part of the all-around renovation of rink number 1 that's going on in Cody Arena.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney? Mr. Paulovecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? Okay, hearing none. Please list it for action later this evening. Madam Clerk, going to jump back. Please read resolutions 3 through 9.
Resolution 3, Office of the County Administrator authorizing the renewal of the county's commercial property insurance policy with affiliated FM Insurance Company for the period June 1st, 2017 through June 1st, 2018 at an annual premium of $434,725.47. Resolution 4, Office of the County Administrator, authorizing the renewal of county excess general liability, excess automobile liability, and excess law enforcement liability with Britt Lloyds of London for the period June 1st, 2017 through June 1st, 2018, and an annual premium of $427,000. Resolution 5, Office of the County Administrator, authorizing the renewal of county excess workers' compensation insurance with Arch Insurance Company for the period June 1st, 2017 through June 1st, 2018, and an annual premium of $357,586. Resolution 6, Office of the County Administrator, authorizing the renewal of the county's professional liability policy for the county, the Essex County Hospital Center with One Beacon Professional Insurance, Homeland Insurance Company of New York, for the period June 1st, 2017 through June 1st, 2018, and an annual premium of $137,000. Resolution 7, Office of the County Administrator, authorizing the renewal of the county's excess public officials employment practices and employed lawyers liability insurance with ACE American Insurance Company for the period June 1st, 2017 through June 1st, 2018 at an annual premium of $100,140 at $100,140.26. Resolution 8, Office of the County Administrator, authorizing the renewal of the county's privacy liability policy with ACE American Insurance Company for the period June 1st, 2017 through June 1st, 2018 at an annual premium of $25,566.48. Resolution 9, the Office of the County Administrator, authorizing the renewal of county pollution liability policy with Chubb Ace American Insurance Company for the period June 1st, 2017 through June 1st, 2018, and an annual premium of $21,733.49.
Okay. Mr. Jackson?
Madam President, as you know, Mr. Jenkins, our Director of Risk Management, recently took on a new position outside of the county, a great opportunity for him, and we were able to enlist the services of Mr. Tim Walker, who's our new Director of Risk Management. Tim brings to us a vast amount of experience in all types of insurance, and he's already making a big impact on our organization, so I'm very happy to bring him up to present these items to you.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Absolutely. You can take the mic. You know you need to take that microphone too.
I'm a little too tall.
You're tall as well.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Madam President, and the freeholders. Basically, resolutions 3 through 9 represent the renewal of the county's insurance program. Overall, we were able to have a pretty successful renewal, totaling a $12,000 savings when you look at each policy, or in total. Resolution number 3, we had a $5,000 increase that represents the properties policy for the county. Resolution number 4 was a renewal of the excess general liability, auto liability, and law enforcement liability renewal, represented a $2,000 savings. We were able to maintain the premium on the next one, which is the excess workers' compensation coverage. We retained premium at the exact same premium as the previous year. Number 6 represents a renewal of the professional liability policy for Essex County Hospital Center that represented the same premium. Number 7 is a renewal of the excess public officials employment practice and employed lawyers liability policy, which we were able to obtain a $14,000 savings. Number 8 was to renew the privacy liability policy with ACE America, represented a $200 increase. And finally, number 9 was the county's pollution liability policy, where we were able to obtain roughly a $30 savings. If there were any questions?
Mr. McInerney.
I do, and I've addressed it already. The question that I had is that all these effective dates are June 1st of 2017 17. We're now in July 6th. So why haven't these policies come before us prior to June 1st?
Okay.
Was it necessary that they come before us?
Well, essentially, this is how the county has always renewed their program. You come up on an effective date of June 1. However, you don't get a final determination on premium until slightly thereafter. So once we were able to obtain all of the premium charges for these various policies, we're able to put together the resolution and bring it to you.
But that's where I'm confused, because what covers the county between June 1st and prior to the approval of the Board of Freeholders?
You bind the coverage before you pay for it. So we bound the coverage effective June 1st, but now it's due to be paid.
And how long is that binder good for?
That binder is good for roughly 45 days. So
Okay, so that's all, so there's a 45-day supposed grace period, maybe you say, so we're well within that.
Yes.
And that's really, what I wanted to get.
Absolutely.
All right. The other thing is on resolution number 3, what's included in the base insurance values of $559 million? What are we talking about?
That's essentially all of the property values of the owned properties for the county, whether it be the zoo, whether it be the prison, whether it be Cody Arena. So you're essentially taking the property values of all of those items, totaling them up. In total, it represented the approximate value.
Are we taking unimproved real estate and approved property, or how is that arrived at?
As you improve on it, you need to add to your schedule of values. So, for instance, at Cody Arena, you're doing improvements right now. So when we come up to renewal next year, we'll need to include that, and this base value will go up.
How does the base value go down?
Could go down through depreciation, but it typically doesn't go down.
And so was there a base value that was given at some point in time based on some appraisals, or?
Yeah, essentially, we had provided to the carrier for this policy a base value based on what I guess I had at that time.
Right.
So the schedule of values for all the properties at that time. As we come up on next year's renewal, we'll probably be 2 or 3 months in advance, we'll be accumulating the values and the improvements on all of those properties to come up with a revised.
So the base is really the important starting point.
Exactly.
So the question is, when do you go back at any point in time and reevaluate the base?
That's actually one of the issues that's being raised by the carrier.
Right.
They feel we are greatly undervalued.
It seems that way.
Yeah. Just if you look at the zoo alone, as you continue to do improvements and new additions to the property, you should be increasing your value.
So those incremental increases, having stayed abreast of the increase in value.
Yeah, it's something we're going to tackle this year.
Okay, thank you very much, and welcome aboard.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Mr. Paul Vecchio.
No additional questions.
Freeholders. Thank you very much and welcome to Essex County.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, please list resolutions 3 through 9. Let's move to resolution number 17 and read. Madam Clerk.
Resolution 17, Department of Economic Development, Training and Employment, Division of Housing and Community Development, cooperation agreements between the County of Essex and certain municipalities for conducting certain community development activities.
Okay. Mr. Jackson.
Madam President, Mr. Lombardi is here to explain this agreement, but it's basically an agreement among municipalities for the various programs we run, CDBG, Home, and ESG. But Mr. Lombardi is here to give you details.
Okay,
Mr. Lombardi.
Good evening, Craig Lombardi, Division of Housing and Community Development. There are 4 Essex County municipalities which receive federal community development block grant funding, or CDBG funding, directly from HUD. Those are Newark, Irvington, East Orange, and Bloomfield. The other 18 municipalities can qualify for CDBG funds as part of a united consortium. Now, HUD requires that every 3 years that the consortium execute a new cooperation agreement between the participating municipalities and the county. This agreement then enables the county to apply for the federal funds for various community development projects. At this time, we are requesting that the board approve the agreement, and upon receiving this agreement, it can be signed off by the county executive and delivered to HUD by or before July 17th.
Mr. McInerney?
Of the 18 municipalities that get their CDBG through the county, that's correct, that's what you just said?
Yes, yes, through the consortium.
Who are they responsible for submitting their ordinance to? Or do they submit them back to the county, or do they submit it directly back to HUD? Who's responsible? Let me rephrase. Who's responsible for monitoring the expenditures of those CDBG grants for those 18 municipalities?
That is the Division of Housing and Community Development. So we handle the application process, and then once the projects are started, we monitor the projects, we process the reimbursements, et cetera.
So the county is responsible for making sure that the money's expended on CDBG money is, in those 18 municipalities,
yes,
is expended in accordance with...
We're working with the municipalities, we're all responsible.
Right, but ultimately somebody's, either the municipality's responsible or the county, you're responsible.
We monitor that, make sure that everything's done in compliance with the HUD regulations.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. Paul-Vecchio?
I don't have any questions.
Freeholders, Freeholder Siebel?
Thanks. Greg, you said there are 4 towns that get money on their own.
Yes.
Are there any other towns in Essex County that were not qualified to receive money?
No, it's part of they are qualified to receive money, but their populations are such that they can get it directly from the federal government.
Those 4?
Right.
But are there any additional towns that are not getting any money?
By being part of the consortium, they're able to apply for funds subject to their projects being in compliance with the HUD regulations. So everyone else is eligible.
All right, because at the leadership meeting, we were told that I think it was Milburn and Essex Fells didn't qualify for funds. Is that so?
I can't speak to how they've said. They may have limited opportunities because of their demographics and income levels. However, for example, I know we've done in those towns ADA projects where, let's say, curbs are made easier for disabled people to get there, or library. We do a lot of work in libraries to make them ADA accessible. So I'm not sure. I wouldn't say that they're ineligible.
Okay, thank you.
I think that may have been misstated.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Freeholder Toro?
So I understand that there's 4 municipalities that get CBDG money on their own.
Correct.
And then 18 that participate with the County of Essex.
Correct.
There's a line here that says, under the home program, the County of Essex is defined as 19 participating municipalities, 18 of which are identical to those currently involved in the CBDG program, and the Township of Bloomfield. Has there been a change with the Township of Bloomfield this year and the CBDG?
No. With the home program, again, each of the 4 towns can be independent for the home program. And now Bloomfield has elected to work with us in the home program, but they are not part of the Community Development Block Grant Program for the consortium. And they're not required to be part of this agreement per se, because it's basically to get to the CDBG monies and apply for the other monies. But like I say, Bloomfield has elected to work with us in the home program.
And that happened this year? Or it's been
occurring? That's been the case for, I've been there for at least a few years now, and I think it's been the case for several years before I got there.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification.
Freeholders? Okay. Mr. McInerney?
If the county, CDBG money runs through the county to a municipality, and the municipality, as I said before, may do a sub-grant, if you will, to a library for ADA requirements, do they still report back to the county?
Yes, for example, just recently, the town submitted an application to us for a project, and they will say we're doing ADA improvements to the library. So they will present that as part of what they're asking for from their town. And then we review all the projects and score them and say, okay, here's what we can do with the funds that we have available.
Okay, and then the follow-up on that for making sure the expenditures are spent in accordance with the grant agreement is still on the county side?
Yes, we have a staff of monitors, and they'll be out there working with the contractors and making sure everything's being done.
Okay, great.
And, that's our responsibility, is to make sure everything's being done in compliance with the HUD regs.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Freeholders? Hearing none, thank you. Please list it for action later this evening. And let's move to resolution number 25, please, 26. It was already read into the record. Mr. Jackson, can you please explain?
26. Yes, this is an agreement with the another sub-grant agreement for the last 6 months of the year, and Ms. Delahaz is here to explain the agreements.
Okay.
Sorry for staging. I thought
Oh, that's
I
fine.
didn't know about first readings and second readings.
Oh, that's okay.
So 11.
You gotta speak in the mic.
State your name and affiliation for the record.
I'm actually Eileen Rivera now.
Take the mic.
I'm sure.
And say that again for me.
Eileen Rivera. I'm the court expediter. I work for the Division of Youth Services. So 11 agencies responded to the request for proposal, and 4 were chosen. I believe they are Academies in Motion, Aspira, the Brilliance Foundation, and Catholic Charities. This is all money coming through the state community partnership. So this is not Essex County money, this is just money being funneled from the state to the community.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Mr. Polavecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? Okay, hearing none. Thank you so much for your service and what you do. Please list it for action later this evening. Madam Clerk, please move to Resolution 25 and read.
Resolution 25, Office of County Counsel, Professional Services Agreement to provide legal services regarding Belvedere Homes at West Orange, South Mountain Conservancy, outside counsel contract with Inglesio, Webster, and Wilskis. I'm challenged. Can you help me?
That's a hard one.
Yes.
I think you can let it go.
I'll give it a shot.
The Inglesino firm, how's that?
Yes, and Taylor.
Marcia Scala.
Amount not to exceed $25,000, June 28th, 2017 through December 31st, 2017.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Madam President. Corporation Counsel Gassion is here to explain this item.
Thank you, Madam President. Courtney Gassion, Essex County Counsel. This resolution is for a contract for legal services for the Inglesino firm in the amount of $25,000. This is a litigation matter. It is already currently in litigation involving a piece of property in West Orange. This property had been purchased by a developer many years ago and was divided into 9 sublots with the intention that it was going to be developed for residential homes. That construction or that development ended up not happening. The properties were transferred. One of the properties was transferred to a property owner by the name of Belvedere Homes. They are now the plaintiff in this matter. The remaining 8 were transferred to the County of Essex. When that transfer occurred, the County of Essex retained a drainage easement through the one single parcel property that was owned by Belvedere Homes, and Belvedere Homes is now looking to develop on their single parcel, and they are looking for the county to relinquish their rights in the drainage easement on that one particular piece of property. That presents an issue for Belvedere Homes in that without the release of the drainage easement, they have an encumbrance on their property, which will limit their ability to build on that property. The county's position is that by relinquishing their rights to the drainage easement, it may create issues going forward if there was ever to be development on the remaining 8 lots that the county currently owns. These properties were obtained with Green Acres funding. There are restrictions on the property. The county would have the ability going forward, if they chose to develop the property for recreational purposes. That means we could put a soccer field there, we could put a dog park there, we could put a field house there. All of those things would require drainage. So our county engineer is concerned by relinquishing the right to the easement that runs through the single property. We would be limited in our ability to ever develop this property going forward. As a result, Belvedere Homes is now pursuing this matter in court. As the board knows, in-house counsel we're a staff of approximately 12 attorneys. We have very few contracts that we put out to outside counsel. We do not have anybody in my office that is an expert, so to speak, in the area of land use. So we felt that this was, because it could be a potential case that goes forward to trial, that we would like to retain outside counsel in order to handle the matter on our behalf.
Thank you. Mr. McInerney.
Where's this property located?
It's off of Northfield Avenue. It's near the Bel Air development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inside or across the street? Or?
I believe it's across the street. Yeah.
Just curious. Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Polavecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? Okay.
Thank
Hearing
you.
none. Thank you. Ms. Gassion, please list it for action later this evening. Madam Clerk, please read into the record at a later time resolutions 18 through 24. But freeholders, do you have any questions or comments before we continue to move through the rest of the agenda about 18 through 24? Freeholder Seabold.
Thank you. I'd like to be included in number 24.
Included in what?
Number 24.
Okay. Freeholders? Okay. So we're going to list 18 through 24 for action later this evening. Madam Clerk, please read resolutions 10 and 15.
Resolution 10, the Office of the Sheriff, contract award to Atlantic Tactical to provide Winchester brand ammunition for the Essex County Sheriff's Office under state contract number 1 NJCP 81297, amount not to exceed $41,486.40. Resolution 15, Department of Public Works, Division of Fleet Management, contract awards to the 4 lowest responsive and responsible bidders to provide various models and sizes of tires via catalog discounts for the county fleet vehicles. 1-year agreement, cumulative amount not to exceed $75,000.
Okay. Mr. Coltree.
Thank you, Madam President. Julius Coltree, Deputy County Administrator. The Office of the Sheriff is contracted with Atlantic Tactical to provide Winchester ammunition for their range qualification for all the officers, and the remaining ammunition will be stored in their armory. The vendor has complied with the freeholder ordinance to fill out all the proper paperwork. Resolution 15, Department of Public Works, Division of Fleet Management. We went out to bid for catalog bid for tires and other equipment for various models of our fleet. We had 4 bidders receive various catalog permission. They are F&S Tire, Barnwell Tire, C&C Tire, and Custom Bag in Linden. They've all complied with the various requirements in purchasing.
Okay. Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Mr. Polavecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders, any questions or comments? Okay. Hearing none, please list resolutions number 10 and 15. Freeholders, we're going to move to a vote. Is there any resolution that needs to be extracted from a collective vote? Resolutions 1 through 27. 16?
We didn't do 16. We didn't do 16.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please read resolution number 16. I have a search of that.
Resolution 16, 2017 County Budget, insertion of items of revenue from the State of New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development for Work First New Jersey, Department of Economic Development, Training and Employment, $8,393,776.
Okay, Mr. Jackson.
Madam President, as noted by Madam Clerk, this, in the amount of money she noted, this is a program that helps, this goal is self-sufficiency. It helps people to find and retain full-time employment, and the service goal is for 1,052 clients, and this is simply a budget insertion.
Okay, Mr. McInerney?
No questions.
Mr. Polavecchio?
No questions.
Freeholders? Okay. Please list it for action coming up. Freeholders, is there any resolution that needs to be extracted from a collective vote? Resolutions 1 through 27. Hearing none? Okay. Is there a mover and a second to take resolutions 1 through 27?
I'll move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Madam President, Charles, second.
Yes.
Freeholder Toro.
Yes.
Freeholder Sebo. Yes. Freeholder Richardson. Absent. Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Jones.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson absent. Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla absent. Freeholder President Timberlake.
Yes.
So moved.
Thank you. Are there any report of board committees? Any legislative reports? Any written communication? Unfinished business? Any new business to discuss? Moving to public comment session. Are there any members of the public wishing to comment on the issue at all? Hearing none. Closing public comment session. Opening freeholder comment session. Oh, Freeholder Vice President Gill.
Thank you, Madam President. Just an additional follow-up. Thank you for the response from the administration to my question at the June 21st meeting. And we don't have to do this now, but if I could just get a little more clarity on how we ended up between the resolution and the actual resolution that was passed and the conversations with the county. Just a little more clarity, if I could. Yeah, and we don't have to do it again. Especially we don't have to do it now. It can be, phone call or if it's a quick answer.
It's quick. It's a quick answer.
Okay.
Through you, Madam President, there's actually, I guess, mixed messages sent by the council to the engineering department. There was this original ordinance, a resolution that was passed, and then if you may recall, Freeholder, there was a vote taken to specifically lower the speed on Grove Street, which did not pass the council. Engineer Varghese is looking at other options now, but there was this one, and there was a subsequent one that did not pass. So I think we will revisit that, but right now, that was the issue, that there was a subsequent message that said we're not interested or don't want to do it at this time.
So to a certain extent, the ball's kind of back in the municipalities.
Correct.
To figure out if they can come to an agreement. Okay.
And also, with respect to specifically Grove Street, Director Varghese had actually agreed to, it had been 12 feet wide, and it was narrowed to 11. And there's a minimum standard that the county has for its roads of 11 feet, so it's actually the minimum width as it is now. So that was the other issue there, was width and also speed.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Freeholders, any other comments? Hearing none, motion to adjourn?